Okay, guys, we're going to read our story for the week. This one is actually a true story. So that means that it is fiction or nonfiction. Nonfiction, okay? So this is what it's called, or this is what it looks like. The name of it is Wangari's Tree of Peace. Trees of Peace. Okay? This is a good book, and remember that it is true, okay, as we're reading it. And we're also going to talk about what the central message or the main idea of this story is. And then we're going to talk about the details, okay? So be thinking about that as we're reading it. Okay, let me turn this a little so y'all can see. Wangari lives under an umbrella of green trees in the shadow of Mount Kenya in Africa. I don't know if you can see. She watches the birds in the forest where she and her mother go to gather firewood for cooking. And she helps harvest the sweet potatoes, sugar cane, and maize from the rich soil. Wangari shines in school, and when she grows tall, like the trees in the forest, she wins a scholarship to study in America. And America is where we live. Six years later, her studies were over. Wangari returns to her Kenya home and sees a change. What has happened, she wonders. Where are the trees? Wangari sees women bent from hauling firewood miles and miles from home. She sees barren land where no crops grow, and where are the birds? Thousands of trees have been cut down to make room for buildings, but no one planted new trees to take their place. Will all of Kenya become a desert, she wonders, as her tears fall. Wangari thinks about the barren land. I can begin to replace some of the lost trees here in my own backyard, one tree at a time. She starts by planting 9 seedlings. Watching the seedlings take root gives Wangari the idea to plant more. To start a farm for baby trees, a nursery. In an open space, she plants row after row of the tiny trees. Next, Wangari convinces the village women that planting trees is a good thing. She gives each one a seedling. Our lives will be better when we have trees again. You'll see, we are planting the seeds of hope. The women spread out over the village, planting tiny trees in long rows, like a green belt stretching over the land. The government men laugh. Women can't do this, they say. It takes trained foresters to plant trees. The women ignore the laughter and keep planting. Wangari pays the women a small amount for each seedling, still living after 3 months, their first earnings ever. Word travels like wind rustling through leaves about the green returning to Wangari's village. Soon, other women in other villages and towns and cities in Kenya are planting long rows of seedlings too. But the cutting continues. Wangari stands tall as an oak to protect the old trees still remaining. We need a park more than we need an office tower. The government men disagree. Wangari blocks their way, so they hit her with clubs. They call her a troublemaker and put her in jail. And still she stands tall. Right is right, even if you're alone. But Wangari is not alone. Talk of all the trees spread over all of Africa like ripples in Lake Victoria. More women hear the talk and plant even more seedlings in longer and longer rows. The seedlings take root and grow tall until there are over 30 million trees where there were none. The umbrella of green in Kenya returns. Women walk tall, their backs straight, for now they can gather firewood closer to home. The land is no longer barren. Sweet potatoes, sugar cane, and maize grow again in the rich red earth. The whole world hears of Wangari's trees and of her army of women who planted them. And if you were to climb to the very top of Mount Kenya today, you would see the millions of trees growing below you. And the green Wangari brought back to Africa. That's the end. All right, I'm going to read. This is the author's note. Let me turn you back this way just one second. Okay. Wangari was born in 1940 in a small village in the verdant, fertile land of Kenya. Brilliant in school means she was very smart. Wangari was awarded a Kennedy Scholarship to attend college in America, where she earned both a bachelor's and master's degree in the biological sciences. It means she was very smart. She went to college for like 6 years. Wangari returned to Kenya to attend the University of Nairobi and became the first woman in East Africa to earn a PhD. That means she could be a doctor. She taught at the university and today is a member of parliament in Kenya. Wangari started Greenbelt Movement Kenya in 1977 on World Environment Day by planting 9 seedlings in her backyard. She was responding to the growing deforestation of her homeland. She saw many changes in daily life, especially among rural women. Some of these changes were lack of firewood, poor soil, erosion, and lack of clean drinking water. The desert was creeping closer, encroaching on the fields where crops and trees once flourished. She enlisted local women to help her plant more indigenous trees. By 2004, 30 million trees had been planted. 6,000 nurseries existed in Kenya. The income of 80,000 people had been increased, and the movement had spread to 30 African countries and beyond. Wangari was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004 because of her contribution to world peace through the Greenbelt movement. In African tradition, a tree is a symbol of peace, so it was fitting that when notified of winning the award, one of Wangari's first acts was to plant a Nandi flame tree at the base of Mount Kenya. In her acceptance speech, she said, "We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds and in the process heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder." It's pretty awesome. Okay. So we're going to talk about the main idea or central message of this story, okay? So, what do you guys think the central message might be? If you could learn something from this, what would it be? Maybe that you can do anything that you set your mind to. If that lady can do it, she did it even though people were telling her that she couldn't. And even though she got thrown in jail, she still did it because she knew it was the right thing to do, right? So that should tell you that you can do anything you put your mind to, right? Even if people tell you you can't do it or because you're too small or whatever they tell you, that you know that that's not true, right? Because you can do whatever you put your mind to. All right? So we're going to talk about details of this story. We know about details because we've talked about 5-star work and how when we draw something, we add details to it to make it look better and more put together. So we're going to talk about, you get to pick 3 details from this story that help us understand it better, and you're going to write them here. So you're going to cut this and this, and you'll glue it in your ELA notebook. Flip it up, and you'll write 3 different details. You could say anything that was in this story that you remember. That they planted 30 million, right? Trees. She got thrown in jail. She got beat with a club. She paid the women that she got to help her. She paid them their first income they've ever received, ever. All kinds of things that happened in the story. You're going to pick 3 of them and write them here, okay? And that's, when we finish that, oh no, we got 2 vocab words, sorry. When you finish that, keep your ELA folder out, because we're going to do vocabulary. So go ahead and pause and do that, and then come back, because I'm going to show you your vocab words, okay? All right. Our vocab words for today, we have 2. We have a purple one that says earnings, and we have a yellow one that says village. Let's do earnings first. Okay, make sure you cut these out around the black rectangle and glue them in your notebook to the page. Okay, earnings. Earnings means payment for work done. So if you go mow someone's yard and you get $20, you earned $20 for mowing someone's yard. That is your earnings. Okay, Miss Wright earns her money from teaching you guys. Okay, I get earnings from that. That's my job. Okay, payment for work done. What could you do at home to receive earnings? Okay, so think about what you could do to help around the house to receive earnings. Sorry, my tablet keeps trying to fall out of its holder. Okay, so I just gave you one. You can mow the yard. You could do the dishes. You could do all kinds of things. Think of something that you could do at home to receive earnings and write it underneath. I'm sorry. Okay, next one. Village. I'm pretty sure we all kind of know what a village is, but let me read it. Village. A small town or community, often in the country. Would you like to live in a village? Why or why not? Okay. So write that down. Why, if you would like to, you say write yes or no and then put why you would or why you would not. Okay, and those are your 2 vocab words today. So when you're finished with that, you're finished with reading for today. And you should be done with your daily edits. And we're not doing one for May, so you don't have to worry about that.